Wordsworth was far from the only writer in this period to be compelled by a sense of the infinite. He and many others in 18th century Europe were fascinated with the sublime, finding new appreciation for the dynamic power and enormity they found in nature. In their writing, you can find lists of settings where such experience could be found. For one, the sublime meant, I quote, prospects of open campaign country, a vast uncultivated desert of huge heaps of mountains, which high rocks and precipices, or a wide expanse of waters, end quote. For another, quote, bold, overhanging, threatening cliffs, thunderclouds towering up the heavens, volcanoes with their all-destroying violence, hurricanes with the devastation they leave behind, the boundless ocean set into a rage, a lofty waterfall on a mighty river, end quote. While there was some disagreement on the edge cases, animals, art, even intolerable stenches, While there was some disagreement on the edge cases, animals, art, even quote-unquote intolerable stenches, generally vastness, obscurity, and a hint of benign threat were central to the sublime's definition. Also important was the distinction from the beautiful, that which was light and delicate, smooth and polished. Also important was a distinction from the beautiful, that which was quote-unquote light and delicate, quote-unquote smooth and polished. A tended garden or bucolic woodland had beauty, they believed, but the sublime provided something more complex, an enriching connection between the intellect and objects of vast scale or dynamic power. Crucially, it brought a touch of discomfort, humility, or even pain. When a mountain, storm, cloud, or waterfall diminished the self, it was a reminder of one's own vulnerability and finite existence, but felt safely as a distance, a quote-unquote sweet shudder, as one German philosopher put it. One thing that made the sublime so appealing to Wordsworth and others was how it stretched the imagination. As the philosopher Emily Bradley writes in her 2013 book on the sublime, quote, a view running through several theories is that as the imagination, or more generally the mind, is expanded, also experience a sense of our ability to take in vastness or great power, thereby evoking a sense of our own powers, end quote. Or as one 18th century writer put it, the mind derives, quote-unquote, a noble pride from encountering a quote-unquote sense of immensity and, quote, entertains a lofty conception of its own capacity, unquote. Quote, entertains a lofty conception of its own capacity, end quote. To illustrate this, Brady cites the emotional experience of staring at the night sky, quote, in casting our eyes across it we cannot take it all in, end quote. She writes, quote, we can look to the left and the right and all around, but it seems to go on forever, filling space and extending outwards in all directions in such a way that we cannot put any boundaries around it through perception. Through this kind of aesthetic experience, we have a kind of sensuous feeling for the infinite, one which is quite different from any kind of intellectual mathematical idea of it. End quote.